guys, we're the Societal Lens, and today we'll be covering gender and alcohol consumption.
As we were so cool.
And now we're going to start talking about gender and alcohol consumption.
So, alcohol.
Pretty good, right? About people and alcohol. Who do we think drinks more? When or women?
Question, yeah.
Yeah, I asked the question.
Who do we think drinks more?
Men.
Men do drink more. But I think there is a difference in the type of drinks and therefore the kind of units that genders consume.
And that's because of sexism.
Also biology. I don't think so.
And stereotypes.
There's a lot more to do with it.
No, I'm more meant the types of drinks, guys, not with the amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a stereotype that women drink fruity gay drinks.
Sam would drink fruity.
Can't tell gay men would also drink those drinks. Fine, whatever.
But, like, fruity drinks are better because they taste better. Like,
it's really interesting how beer is considered a men's drink, but the alcohol content is way lower than the
I don't like beer.
fruity drinks.
literally real. Men, they're kind of not allowed to share their emotions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they kind of, you're a man. Be a man. Throw some balls. And,
I'm sorry.
I found it quite surprising how much alcohol was consumed, just in general, not even the differences between the genders. It was like 18 units in a week, something like that. It was massive.
It was crazy. I was actually I was reading it when I was doing my research and I was like, what the hell? Like, how do you even drink that much?
And like alcohol consumption, even with the differences, is really normalized in our culture. Like, you just have a drink or two or three on a night, just no special occasion, nothing, just sit on your sofa, watch TV and have a gin, not calling anyone out. Sam was researching some of the negative effects of alcohol. He was actually quite surprised to find that it was a carcinogen.
What does that mean? Yeah.
It's cancer causing.
Really?
With cancer being so prominent in our society as an uncurable disease, to have another way in which its cause be so societally prominent is dangerous.
Did anyone do research on why men feel socially pressured to drink? Perhaps who did research on
We
that?
haven't done it yet.
I kind
We're
of
gonna
like
get to other.
Getting round to it, it's a fluid
We haven't
conversation.
each covered women yet, okay? We're gonna get to all of them, okay? Give us time. We're focusing on the men first. We can get them out of the way.
it's kind of just like I can't find it, but it's just
Why do
it's
men drink
because-
more? It's literally right here.
I know, but I mean like
Men are
it's
more
just,
likely to be influenced by their peers to drink and use drugs.
Yeah, it's just seen as like a masculine thing. I feel like a lot of them, they're like, oh, like I don't know how to explain. Sorry, I keep saying like yeah.
Yeah, and also older male family members. I'm not an older male family member, but there are older male family members. They're like, oh, when you reach this age, I can take you out for a drink.
Mhm.
And it becomes like a growing up thing. Like when you reach this age, alcohol is like one of the things that is considered grown up, and that kind of combines with expectations as a man in this case.
Yeah.
Seen as a development of their life.
I see it all the time.
We've talked about men and we've talked about sort of the youth, but we haven't talked about women yet.
Young women is overall decreasing from 58% in 2008 to 42% of women in 2024 drinking at least once a week. But alcohol misuse has increased. And I can't bother to read out the statistics.
It's okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Another reason why women might drink more is because of the triple shift, which is when women have to worry about work, childcare, and have the emotional burden of their husbands.
So lesbians are happier.
Yes.
Really, yeah.
We do
Yeah.
not have any evidence to back that. Do not.
Yeah,
the evidence.
And also, it's more normal now. Because back in the day, back in ye old days, not the 80s, ye old days.
50s.
No.
No, it actually was like the 50s when women started like drinking.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Back in
yeah,
ye old days, women weren't drinking, but the men were.
Oh yeah.
Which is why,
So,
I mean,
the
obviously it's
40s.
more.
I see. So
1400s.
Mrs. Sybil Burling would not have been drinking. She did drink.
She was
She drank like port.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which-
Oh, in spectacles. that's
Personally, I have a
quite
fan
big.
theory.
I used to wear it and it
Oh.
was more reasons, that was it.
No, like other things about it.
Other things. Oh my gosh.
Why is it that women are more at risk of diseases relating to alcohol?
Good question. Where is
That is
it?
in your notes.
It's not in my notes.
Well,
I
it
don't have
depends
them
on
out.
what disease you're talking
Which-
about.
What? Alcohol-related diseases.
Yeah, but men are more.
Women are more prone. That's what the.
It depends which one though.
What men or women?
Was that- Is that because of the body water
Oh no.
Yeah,
in
so.
bodies?
Is that what it says?
Yeah, that is what it says.
I don't recognize
It could be due
Yeah.
to that women process alcohol in their blood instead of in the liver.
Women don't
Oh,
have
sorry.
No, they do. They do, but process most of their alcohol in their blood, whereas men, it's entirely in the liver. It's because, I think my research said it's because they have higher absorption, so the blood absorbs more of the alcohol, so therefore it's dealt with more in the blood.
Which that means it's metabolized slower. Is
Yes.
that is am I having that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, in their stomach, they have less enzymes that would break down the alcohol. originally
Yes, I
compared to
saw
men.
that in your research. It had a special name, and I can't remember the name.
Anyway, to fill this silence, what were you saying about like the body water is that women have less water in their body, right? And that's what. Well, yeah, but that also also the alcohol will be more concentrated in the water because the women have less of it. Let's go to other.
Time for other.
I've got.
Is there something else we can say than others?
Go
Sorry,
for
I
it.
was-
Yeah. Right. So.
Floor is yours.
Yeah.
No, actually,
for this-
Haley.
Oh, wait, stop really.
As my source, I used the National Library of Medicine. This was an article specifically on the UK, and I've summarized this. There was a cross-sectional survey that was co-produced with community stakeholders and administered to a purposive sample of trans and non-binary people from 1st of February until 33rd of March 2022. There were 462 correspondents, the majority of which were outside the binary, and higher levels of discrimination were reported, and there was an association with a higher risk of dependence with the reported times of drinking. So there was a connection between the discrimination and the amount of risky drinking, essentially. It was also found that some people drink to cope with dysphoria, and that if there were social supportive spaces that were to help with issues like this, like discrimination, dysphoria, that could possibly be a good replacement for alcohol and lower these like sort of risky drinking numbers right now. You were going to say what dysphoria means,
Okay.
and you were going to start recording.
It is recording now.
Okay.
So, dysphoria is defined on Wikipedia as profound state of unease or dissatisfaction. It is the semantic opposite of euphoria. In psychiatric context, dysphoria may accompany depression, anxiety, or agitation. In the context that we are talking about, dysphoria refers to discomfort or unease with presentation of gender.
Great.
Other website I used is sciencedirector.com, and I don't know how trustworthy this is, but they had a lot of sources. They sourced a lot of sources for different studies. So I have the summaries, which is that transgender populations are most likely to be a part of alcohol misuse in early to middle adulthood. So once again, there's this pattern of young people being more likely to drink. There was a 2015 study that found that high prevalence of binge drinking overall, there's a high prevalence, and that this number is actually bigger in trans communities of colour. I assume there's no one here off colour, but I assume that this is once again tied to discrimination and to coping with that, and most likely stereotypes. I cannot confirm that 100%, but
Yeah.
Because we
this
haven't
is
looked at
what's most likely.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
obvious.
this when I looked at your research, it said something about was it Hispanic people?
Yes. I feel like the first website that I took from, that was specifically around the UK. This one seemed more centered around America, I believe. America's a more diverse place, so it makes sense that there would be more studies to do with that there, and more statistics in general.
Yes. Also, a lot of psychological studies. I think
Yeah,
around
a lot of them.
80 to 90% are based in North America.
A lot of them are.
A lot.
It is important to consider, I think, that when there's a large number of studies from one specific area of the world, it is not widely generalizable to all other places. So that's why I'm bringing up that some things are in the UK and some things in America, because just to be aware of that there will be differences in between the two. It does seem like discrimination plays a really big part in problematic alcohol use, which again ties into the idea of it being a way of coping or a way to sort of get to a certain state of mind where a person can feel comfortable with themselves, to just sort of dissociate from themselves. So yeah, it's a pretty prevalent issue today. Thank you. Any other points? We've talked about men, we've talked about the youth and sort of fitting in, we've talked about discrimination.
We talked a bit about culture.
We talked about metabolism. We've done everything.
We've done.
Maybe we could revisit culture.
Yeah.
I have experience of a certain other culture in drinking.
Isn't that helpful?
Be a
That's
unique
like, yeah.
perspective.
Isn't that
Right.
That's
So drinking in Hungary is pretty big. Particularly underage drinking. I'm not gonna say sort of who, obviously, but there are younger people that I know in my family and family friends and stuff that are a lot younger than me. And you could ask them, like, hey, what's your favorite alcoholic drink? And they will have a tier list. There's a yearly fireworks show. And there's a lot of drinking during the fireworks. Everyone is really depressed because the government spends all the money on those fireworks. So everyone's like, might as well get drunk and deal with it. So yeah, there's just quite a big bit of culture about just being self-destructive, and alcohol is a pretty big bit to that. Or at least that's the way I've seen it.
Okay, so what you're saying is underage drinking is a lot more prevalent in like other cultures like Bulgaria. So what about like adults drinking? Would they drink more in Hungary?
They do as well, yeah. Who do you think's allowing the underage drinking?
Yeah, well,
culture?
yeah. There's that. Like my parents go to like a pub quiz on like Wednesdays, right? So is that kind of like a thing where they go out to like a quiz and get drunk, or is it like more like a stay at home and like
Either or, honestly.
everyone, all of them?
Yeah, like alcohol at home and stuff. It's considered fairly normal to have alcohol and stuff.
Have you seen a gender prominence in it?
It's kind of everyone more men. I get there's differences in what kind of drinks, like we mentioned before, but it's just in general, drinking seems to be a part of the culture. Non-binary people can't really legally exist there right now, so I can't really talk about that.
My experiences, which obviously isn't going to be representative of a larger population,
I think we're all
because
here.
this
Yeah.
was on holiday, so obviously it wasn't. People drink more on holiday, but I did witness people taking tequila shots at 10 in the morning, and like my grandparents, they'd have like 5 drinks on an evening, like, you know, pina coladas, Bloody Marys, gin and tonics, kamikazes, Black Russians.
You just trying to list all the ones you know.
I'm listing all the ones they drunk.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, but with British people, drinking on holiday is like a massive
Yes.
thing.
It's seen as relaxation, yeah.
To drink.
Yeah.
Like, eat and stuff. They just
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah. So the most of the people at the hotel, they were Russian and German, and from what I've heard and what I've read and everything, they also have quite big drinking cultures over there. Like with Germany, there's the Oktoberfest, and that's a lot of beer, ale, lagers, other types of yeast drinks.
I think if we look at the world as a whole, Europe is like a sort of main place
Yeah.
for drinking, particularly because of all the festivals. Just sort of briefly going back to Hungary, I think another thing that I didn't mention is I think one of the reasons it's part of the culture is because of palinka, which is a drink, from there. So I think that is the main reason, and like festivals. I'm saying this because I didn't mean it to sound like everyone's constantly drinking, and I feel like I did, and that was not my intention.
So yeah, drinking culture is big in kind of Eastern Europe, is what we're saying. I think that's what we said.
So, this has been the Societal Lens, and we have had a joyous time talking about alcohol and its relation to genders. This is the Convex group, consisting of me, Charlie, by which I mean I am Charlie, Ruby, Sam, Haley, and Elise. This means that we record earlier in the week. And thank you so much for listening.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
We should definitely harmonize on that.
Hi, this is Elise.
I just wanted to say, oh god, is the quality really bad? I don't care. I'm really sorry that this episode is not very good. I've been editing for 2 hours and I don't want to do it anymore. So, yeah, some of this will not make any sense. None of this will make any sense, to be honest. But I promise next week's will be better because we weren't talking over each other, which is what we were doing this episode. So, yeah. Love you, bye.
Body,
Body flaps.
I swear to God. Something. Why? 2 seconds.
What's your favorite alcoholic drink?
Vodka. Unflavored. I swear the flavor makes it worse.
That's my bagel.